Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm Formula Chef 3, and today we're diving into the next chapter of my paranormal story. Hope you all enjoyed part 1 and found the tales intriguing. Last time we explored the most intense encounter yet, the relentless beatings on the wall, but trust me, things will only get stranger from here, so sit back, relax, and get ready for part 2 of my paranormal experience. The next day, I heard what sounded like running water, started searching for the source. It took me a moment to realize that it was coming from this half bathroom that we had in the house. The problem was the bathroom was kind of out of order. The toilet didn't work, so we would have that door locked. I had to go and find a key. It took me about 5-10 minutes to find it. When I finally did unlock the door, I discovered that the sink was running. Now the faucet, the weird part about it was, it's one of those single handle types where you have to lift up to turn on, and it was fully up and engaged, which shouldn't have been possible as the door was locked and remained locked. I turned it off, locked the door again, and couldn't stop wondering how it turned itself on. And to this day, that one still kind of gets me, because it's not like it was in the off position of water coming out. It was fully in the on position. Somebody had to lift it. And that one still kind of baffles me a little bit. One summer, a friend of mine decided to come over to my house and stay the night. I was in the room with the crawl space leading to the attic, and my friend seemed really unnerved by this attic entry point. Didn't say why, but it just kind of creeped him out. I would occasionally catch him staring up at it. It was just kind of creepy to him. We stayed up very late that night, playing video games, drinking soda, doing stupid stuff teenagers always do. And everything seemed normal when we went to bed at the crack at 6 a.m. or something like that. But the next afternoon, or later that afternoon when I woke up, just like panicking, like really bad. It kind of woke me up. I got up to see what was wrong with him, essentially. And he accused me of putting him in the closet. And that it was taunting him with the attic. And I'm like, man, I did not put you in the attic. And he was pretty furious with me, insisting that I knew he had a fear of the attic, even though he never stated he did. I just kind of knew it was there. It was implied, essentially. I tried to explain that I hadn't put him in the closet, and that he was adamant he hadn't done it himself. The reason why he was very adamant that I had done this is, in the past, with my siblings, anytime we had friends stay over, we would sometimes find it funny to pick up the sheet they're laying on. So we put a sheet down for him to sleep on. And that was usually our point, to grab it and pick him up and put him in a different bedroom. So when they woke up, they were just all hella confused. And it was funny, but I guarantee I did not put him in the closet that night. So how he got in there, I don't know. But a month later, he decided to come back and stay the night again. I do want to mention, though, he's about a year or two younger than me. We still talk to this day, which is funny. And I just explained to him he could stay the night, but I had to work the next morning, so I can't stay up late, and I'll be gone before he wakes up. So I told him, though, that he would be in the house alone with my sister, which is fine. She takes care of herself. She does her own bullshit thing, and he never really talks to her or nothing. He agreed that night. Everything went without incident. However, I guess when he woke up that following day, he had this, what I can only call a complete meltdown. He was pounding on the bathroom door, because that's where my sister was. She was taking a shower, pleading with her to let him in. And according to her, he was crying. And he was just like beating the door, begging, pleading with her to let him in. And there's something wrong. And when she obviously refused, he took off and left. He ran out the door. Didn't even shut the door. And he stayed away for quite a few months. I don't know if he ever stayed the night again after that. He had stayed the night with me later on in different houses. I don't think he ever came back to stay the night in that house. He never explained what he was so frightened about. And I would have only found out about this I would have never found out about this, I should say, if my sister didn't tell me about it. But he just, to this day, he'll say nothing happened. And then if I keep asking him, he's like, dude, I'm never going to tell you. Just leave me alone. Don't know why he won't tell. That's the even better part. My brother's friends also often would get so scared staying over at night that they would ask and beg me to take him home. I had a vehicle, so we'd have to call their parents, explain it, and then take him home. It was kind of funny, but kind of weird at the same time. One night I came home to an empty house, and for some reason I felt unusually anxious about going inside. For a little bit of context, I've never felt anxious about going inside my house ever, and I still have never felt anxious about it. But I do want to give you tiny context here, a bit more. This story I told in a YouTube video months back called Shadow People. If you want the full story, go there. I'm going to try to give you as much detail as possible here. But, you know, I may leave out a key point here and there, because obviously I do tend to forget things. But I couldn't quite pinpoint why I felt uneasy. As I walked up the stairs to the front door, the air felt thick and uneasy. Thirsty, I headed straight for the fridge to grab me a can of soda. Major crutch of mine, still is a major crutch of mine. Out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw something move. But when I turned to look, there was nothing there. Now, in my kitchen, I have a kitchen, dining room, and then the washer and dryers. I saw it by the washer and dryer area, and then it went out of my peripheral. I kind of laughed, thinking, man, my brain is messing with me. I'm being stupid right now. I'm scared of absolutely nothing. But as I made my way to the front living room, I saw something dart from my bedroom to the room across the hall. Now, the way I'm looking is, if I'm looking at my bedroom, to my left is the front door, to my right's a hallway, and then straight in front of me is the living room. Just to give you a little more context. I froze and started to feel an unsettling presence right behind me. I kept glancing over my shoulder to see if I saw something. Never saw anything. And those 15 minutes probably felt like an eternity to me. To distract myself, I turned on the TV for some background noise. But even while watching, I saw shadow movement from one room to the other, and that kind of was enough for me. I decided to leave the house, got on my bike, rode around for probably the next hour to clear my head, question my sanity, and when I returned, my family was back home, and everything kind of went back to normal. But that was kind of a spooky night, I'm not gonna lie. One night, my family returned home to find one of my brothers sitting outside on the porch. Curious and slightly amused, I couldn't resist by teasing him. "What, are you scared of the ghosts?" I asked with a smirk. Playing the role of typical older brother, kind of glanced at me and simply said, "I'm just sitting outside." Then, without another word, he got up and went inside, and we all did. To this day, I can't shake the feeling that something must have unsettled him to the point where he couldn't be inside alone. But whenever I brought it up to him, he just insists, to this day, that nothing ever happened to him, and that he wasn't scared, and that he was just sitting outside enjoying the night. I began to notice that my brothers, multiple of them, would start sleepwalking at night. Sometimes just one of them, other times all of them, which was slightly annoying being a night owl. I'd often get up, lead them back to bed, and then return to my own room. But one night was a little bit different. I heard what I thought was one of my brothers sleepwalking. So I sighed, in exasperation, knowing, oh, here we go again. Went to go check on him. I opened the door and called out, "Hey, come on, let's go to bed." But there was no one there. I searched the house, but it was empty. I went back to bed, only to hear the noise again. So I got up, checked once more, and found nothing. Determined to get to the bottom of it, I turned on the hallway light, went back into my room, shut the door, went back to bed. The noise persisted, so I watched the space between the floor and the door. That rhymed. And saw a small shadow step in front of the door. But no one was there. I got up, opened the door, nobody was there at all. Kind of puzzled, I looked, shut my door, locked it, did not leave for the rest of the night. No joke, I didn't even go to use the bathroom. I just held it till daybreak. The following week, I heard the walking again. When I got up, I found no one around. TV in the front room was on. Kind of annoyed, I just assumed, so whoever watched it last just didn't shut it off. So I went out to investigate. I started to hear a slight whisper of a conversation coming from the front room. This kind of made me stop in my tracks a little bit, realizing that somebody was in the house. I am now out of my room, out of my comfort zone. just stopped. Decided to kind of hype myself up a little bit, summoned my courage, as I might say, and walked into the front room. But as soon as I hit that entry point to the living room, the TV turned off and just completely went dark in the house. The conversation also ceased. I was just left with a chilling feeling of not only confusion as I returned to my room, but I was just unsure of what kind of just happened. It was kind of creepy, not gonna lie. Like, that one to this day kind of bothers me because there was nobody in the living room and it shut off by itself. Now, it may have had a timer on it, I don't know, but my brothers didn't know how to set timers on TVs for it to shut off. And what's the odds that it just kind of shut off right as I hit that entryway to the living room? Still creepy, still don't understand what happened, still puzzled to this day about it. I invited a girl over to hang out with me and watch a movie. It was before the whole era of streaming, of course, and I had just gotten a massive big screen TV. We settled in to watch the film, which turned out to be pretty terrible. Pretty usual of my thing, I watched everything back then. Partway through, the remote, which was sitting between myself and the girl on the couch, suddenly flew off and went to the middle of the living room. I just assumed maybe she had knocked it off by mistake, so I got up to retrieve it. When I sat back down, I noticed a figure at the end of the hallway, and I looked away and then back again, and it was still there. I was like, man, what is this? I asked the girl if she saw it, but she didn't, and by the time I looked again, the figure was gone. This was unsettling because it was only the beginning. The next day, I mentioned the incident to my mother. She told me that the previous day of me and the girl being there, so 2 days prior, she and one of my brothers were watching TV, and when TV arrived, essentially, and they had seen a figure standing at the end of the hallway. Thought nothing of it. However, my brother had gotten up and walked to the TV while looking at something, and then looked down the hallway. When she asked him if he had seen anything, he kind of confirmed that he had a figure standing at the end of the hallway, which is what she saw, and which is what I saw. Just a black silhouette of a person standing at the end of the hallway. Very, very, very creepy. Also, I had a cat named Zeus. He was kind of a troublemaker. He was a bobtail ginger, and he would just sit at the edge of the living room staring down the hallway, growling and hissing at something unseen. This would continue until he bolted away. He actually ran away, and we never saw him again. Whatever it was frightened him to the point where it was enough to make him leave the house for good, and he just never came back. It was kind of creepy, and still something that I don't have an answer for to this day.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. To stay updated with future content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so feel free to leave me a comment below. Let's keep this conversation going. Until next time, take care and keep exploring.